In short, no. But it also depends on why the non-Jew in question is wearing it. Earlier this year in Germany, Muslim women wore yarmulkes over their hijabs to stand in solidarity with the Jewish community after an anti-Semitic attack occurred. I found that to be very touching and not at all offensive. I should also point out that wearing a yarmulke is not exclusively a Jewish thing. In fact, head coverings have been worn by various people of different religious backgrounds for centuries. Muslim men wear something similar. So does the Pope. In Orthodox synagogues, attendees, Jewish and not Jewish, are required to wear yarmulkes. That means that, if you're a Gentile and you find yourself in an Orthodox synagogue for whatever reason, you'll probably be asked to wear one. So, no, non-Jews wearing yarmulkes is not offensive in and of itself. But, if a non-Jew wears a yarmulke to appropriate it for something beyond its original intent, then I could see how some people would find that offensive. It mostly comes down to intent. There is nothing inherently offensive about it. When intended to offend, such as wearing it in order to represent yourself as a Jewish person while engaging in mischievous behavior in order to attribute such conduct to the Jewish community and amplify antisemitism, it would be offensive. When intended to be considerate, such as to show solidarity with the Jewish community or to show respect for Jewish custom by wearing one in a synagogue or other Jewish space, it is taken as considerate and greatly appreciated. It all comes down to the underlying motivation. I would suggest that, in general, it is okay to do when participating in a Jewish event in a Jewish space, such as being a guest at a bar mitzvah. It is also perfectly okay in a context where no one is likely to confuse you for being Jewish, such as, for example, a march in solidarity for victims of antisemitism, where non-Jews are expected to wear a kippah and where people are likely, therefore, to not assume that anyone wearing a kippah is Jewish. It can, however, be a problem in other contexts where people assume that someone wearing a kippah is Jewish. For example, if you go into a non-kosher restaurant as a non-Jew wearing a kippah, you might accidentally cause someone who is religious to inadvertently eat non-kosher food by them mistakenly assuming that religious Jews eat there and that, therefore, the food is kosher. And, even if not intending to promote antisemitism, if you are not cognizant of the burden of being identifiably Jewish and people extrapolating your behavior to other Jews, you might engage in behavior that ultimately gets misattributed and generalized to Jews as a whole. Therefore, I would ask that if you do wear a kippah, that you do so with this recognition, behave in the utmost ethical manner while wearing it, and take off the kippah when engaging in activities that are religiously prohibited in Judaism. There are a lot of questions about non-Jews doing Jewish stuff and is it offensive? I assume this is coming from a cultural appropriation angle. I have honestly never heard a Jew of any stripe care about things like that. Perhaps it's because we have lived most of our existence being hated by others that we are happy to see the opposite. However, there is a concern, especially for religious Jews, about mistaking a non-Jew for a Jew. Because we are a religion predicated on a legal system, there are laws that are different for Jews and non-Jews. Prayer with a quorum needs 10 Jews. Wine must be poured by Jews. Assumptions about dietary laws are different if it's a Jew or a non-Jew. ECT.